Everyone dreams their first game will be special, the next Hollow Knight, the next Minecraft, but here's the harsh truth, it won't be. Your first game will be bad, almost nobody will care, and you definitely won't make money with it. And that's the reason why you should keep going. I've released games that got literally 0 downloads. I've shown friends my projects and heard, cool, now let's play something else. And when I finally put a game on Steam, I learned how brutal visibility really is. But that's why this video exists. I want to share 7 harsh truths that every new developer needs to hear. Truths that will save you months of pain, frustration and wasted effort. Truth number 1. Your first game will be bad. Everybody thinks their first game is gonna be amazing. But the harsh truth is, your first game will be bad. And that's just reality. When you're just starting out, your ideas are huge, but your skills are tiny. Everyone wants to make the next Hollow Knight or Minecraft, but what you'll actually end up with is something closer to a janky platformer with barely working jumping. That's how it was for me too. I thought my first unit project would be amazing. A 2D platformer in a zombie apocalypse with guns, bosses and a really big map. What I actually made was a free asset character walking around on a map with a gun and a zombie spawning system. Looking back, it was terrible in many different ways, but that's exactly the point. Even the best developers start this way. Marcus Persson, Notch, made dozens of weird little games before Minecraft. The founder of Nintendo, his first attempts were simple arcade clones. Nobody remembers those games because they weren't good, but without them, the great ones wouldn't exist. The reason your first game will be bad is simple. You don't know what you need to do yet. You'll overcomplicate your code, you'll add 10 mechanics when you really only need one, and you'll chase ideas that sound amazing in your head, but they'll fall apart once you implement them. And that's not failure, that's training. Because the only way to learn the difference between a good idea and a bad one is to actually build it, watch it break, and realize why it didn't work. So don't aim for your first game to be good. Aim for it to be finished. Because once it's done, no matter how bad, you will have learned 90% more than people who never finish at all. Truth number 2. No one will care at first. When you release your first game, nobody is going to care. At least not at first. Every single day, dozens of games hit Steam, hundreds more get dumped on itch.io, and unless you're bringing something truly special and know how to market it, your game is just another thumbnail in a sea of thousands. I've been there. I put 3 games on itch.io and got a total of 0 downloads. But those games weren't meant to be played, they were meant for me to learn. But that silence still stings the first time you experience it. Even showing friends doesn't guarantee much. I'd share my projects on Discord and the reaction was usually, oh, that's cool. Anyway, wanna play Overwatch instead. And that's the reality. People are polite, but they're not invested. Not yet anyways. It wasn't until I put Echoes of Steel on Steam that I really understood this. Getting on Steam is exciting, but it's also a reality check. You realize that visibility, wishlists and downloads don't just happen. They come from marketing, community building, trailers, screenshots, a whole skill set outside of game dev. Now here's the nuance. If you make a truly great game, the kind that grabs people in 30 seconds, marketing gets 10 times easier. Streamers pick it up faster, players chat with your friends, and reviews snowball. But the catch is, you only learn how to make that kind of game by going through the earlier, less exciting ones first. So if you're starting out, don't expect people to line up for your first project. Don't expect streamers, don't expect reviews, don't even expect downloads. That doesn't mean your work is worthless. That just means visibility is a game of its own. And your first release is the tutorial level. The truth is, no one caring at first is normal. Your job is to use that silence to practice, to learn, and to build the skills you need so that by the time you do build something great, people will notice. Truth number 3. You will learn more than you think. Here's the upside. Even if your first game is bad and even if nobody plays it, you're going to learn more than you ever expected. When you're starting out, every mistake becomes a lesson. You learn how to scope a project. You learn what's actually fun to play, not just fun to imagine. And you learn how to keep your code from turning into an unreadable disaster. For me, I didn't just learn how to make mechanics. I learned clean code principles, scriptable objects, and how to structure a big game from working on Automation Haven, even though I abandoned it later. And other projects I picked up multiplayer networking, async programming, and publishing. Stuff no YouTube tutorial can truly prepare you for. Releasing things teaches you things too. How to actually export a build, how to set up a Steam page, how to handle updates and feedback. You realize that making a game isn't just about coding or art, it's about delivering something complete. And the best part is knowledge compounds. Every time you finish something, no matter how small, you're stacking experience. Suddenly, you're faster, you debug smarter, you design more clearly, all because you went through the pain of finishing a messy first game. That's why people say you should just finish. Because the process itself, even if the final game is unplayable, makes you better in ways you don't even realize until the next project. So don't underestimate it. Your first game will be worth it, not because it will be good, but because of the developer it turns you into. Truth number 4. Motivation will run out. The honeymoon phase feels amazing. You've got a new idea, you're full of energy, and the first week, you can't stop thinking about your game. But that excitement is temporary. Once the shiny part fades, what's left is the grind. And the grind isn't glamorous. It's debugging, it's balancing, it's reworking menus that nobody will even notice. It's staring at the same bug for 3 hours. This is where most projects stall. Because starting is fun, finishing, that's work. And if you only chase what's fun, you'll never finish anything. I've learned that the hard way. I started plenty of projects with huge excitement, but once I hit that grind, motivation dipped fast. And that's the point where most people quit, because they expected excitement to carry them all the way through. The difference between a graveyard of unfinished projects and an actual release is discipline. It's showing up on the boring days, shipping away when nobody's watching. Even if it's just fixing one bug, writing one script, or polishing one sound effect. That consistency stacks up. The truth is, you don't build discipline in one big moment of inspiration. You build it by showing up every single day. Some days you'll get 5 hours of work done. Other days you will barely manage to get 20 minutes of work done. But if you stay consistent, that is what finishes games. It's like compound interest. A little progress made consistently eventually adds up to something way bigger than a random burst of motivation ever could. Motivation will always fade. That's normal. But if you train yourself to show up anyway, to treat game dev more like brushing your teeth than a special event, that is how you cross the finish line. Because starting is fun, but finishing, it is what lets you accomplish your dreams. Truth number 5. You'll be tempted to quit. And that's okay. Most new developers abandon their first project, because their skills outgrow the game faster than the game itself improves. That happened to me with Automation Haven. I worked on it for almost a year, a big factory automation game. My dream project. But the more I learned about clean code, scriptable objects and proper structure, I realized the foundation was a mess, and I couldn't carry that project forward anymore. And that's the reality. Your first code base will collapse under its own weight. You realize entire systems need to be rewritten. You start to see everything you did wrong. Instead of excitement, you'll feel stuck. But here's the thing. Quitting doesn't erase your lessons. Automation Haven taught me way more than if I never started it. When I moved on to my next project, I already knew how to keep things modular, how to manage scope, and how to avoid the traps that killed my first game. Every failed project is training for the next one. No matter how long you spend on it, even if no one plays it, the lessons carry forward. So if you feel tempted to quit your first game, don't panic. Sometimes walking away is part of the process. The goal of your first game isn't to make a masterpiece. It's to make you into a developer who can tackle the next one. Truth number 6. It won't make you money. Here's the harshest truth of them all. Your first game won't make money. Almost guaranteed. The numbers are brutal. Thousands of games release every month. Most sell a handful of copies, if they sell any at all. And unless you already have an audience, your first game is likely to get buried before anyone even finds it. I've seen it myself. I didn't get any downloads on my first games, but they weren't built to sell, they were built for me to learn. Because when you put something out and nobody buys it, you start understanding how actually all of this works. Even with Echoes of Steel, putting it on Steam was exciting, but it was also humbling. Because just being on Steam doesn't mean people will flock to your page. You need traders, marketing, community, and on your very first game, you probably don't have those skills yet. That's why it's dangerous to start game dev with profit in mind. If your only goal is money, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Your first and following projects are just practice. The real value of your first game is experience. It's a finished project in your portfolio. It's the lessons you'll bring to the second, third and 10th game. The ones that can make money. Don't treat your first game as a product. Treat it as tuition, the cost of learning the craft. Because once you pay that price, the games that follow will be built on a foundation that can actually succeed. Truth number 7. It's the gateway. And the last truth. Your first game is the gateway. Every professional developer has a graveyard of half-finished projects. Games no one heard of, projects abandoned halfway, and ideas that never worked out. And that's normal, because every one of those games leveled them up for the next. For me, the project I scrapped taught me clean code. Automation Haven taught me structure. Echoes of Steel taught me publishing, marketing, and what it takes to put something on Steam. None of them are perfect, but each one pushed me closer to becoming the developer I want to be. Look at the greats. Minecraft started as a clunky survival sandbox. RimWorld's early alphas were bare bones compared to what it is now. Hollow Knight began as a jam project, before it became one of the most beloved indies ever. None of these games appeared out of nowhere. They came after years of practice. Your first game is proof that you can make something, even if it's messy. It shows you that finishing is possible. And once you know that, every game after becomes a little less scary. It's not supposed to be your one-hit viral game. It's supposed to open the door to all the games you'll make after it. So don't treat your first game as a masterpiece, treat it as a gateway to the developer you are becoming. Your first game will be messy. It won't get noticed and it won't make you any money. But that's okay, because it's not supposed to. Your first game is just a gateway. It's proof you can finish something. And every game after builds on that foundation. So don't just quit because it isn't perfect. Keep going. Because by finishing your first game, you're becoming the developer who can make the second, the third, and eventually the great one.